Alright, so what are Zeno's paradoxes? And for that matter, who really was Zeno? It's an interesting one. G6, the fianchetto, King's fianchetto. Well, Zeno, as I was talking about, was a Greek philosopher. He was a Greek philosopher that existed before Socrates. And you know that means he existed a pretty long time ago. Socrates was a pretty long time ago too. If you think about it, Socrates' name itself is a paradox. I mean, it's Socrates, but it looks like Socrates. Can we just call him Socrates, guys? I mean, why Socrates? If you're gonna make Socrates, at least spell it correctly. According to English convention, it should be Socrates. So I'm just gonna call him Socrates now. Anyway, so Zeno was a philosopher that existed before Socrates. Socrates was pretty young. Actually, I think they existed around the same time. I'm not sure. But Zeno was definitely a lot older when Socrates was younger. What's this? What is that? Yes, okay. Anyway, so one of the biggest things that Zeno is really known for are his paradoxes. His paradoxes really questioned, especially motion. He really did not like motion for some reason. He must have not liked moving. But Zeno introduced a lot of paradoxes that questioned what motion really was. And his most famous paradox is most likely his dichotomy paradox. And once again, English, what's up? Dichotomy, it looks like dichotomy, Dichotomy. It should be dichotomy paradox, not dichotomy. Come on. Dichotomy? Okay. Anyway, his dichotomy paradox, yes. As soon as I understand what this man's doing now. What is that? What is that? Is he trying to go here? I can just... Okay. And the dichotomy paradox is given in the words of Aristotle. Yeah, and it's good to know that also we don't have any actual surviving records of this guy, of Zeno. It's all in the writing of Aristotle mainly. We really don't know much actually about his actual writing, but everything we know about Zeno comes from Aristotle. Aristotle wrote it as, that which is in locomotion must arrive at the halfway stage before it arrives at the goal. And this was, of course, in the words of Aristotle. I'm just going to push in. And so pretty much what the dichotomy paradox is that in order to go to, let's say I wanted to go to school, for some peculiar reason I actually wanted to go to school. To get there, you first have to go half of the way. I'm going to kick this out. Let's come out here. Yeah, let's do this for now. And in order to get to school, you have to go halfway. In order to go halfway, you also have to go half of the halfway. And then you have to do that again and 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 again. You just keep doing that over and over again. You just have to keep getting to the halfway point, and that's the dichotomy paradox. And it's to the point that motion just becomes an illusion, becomes you can't move at all because you just have to keep getting to the halfway point in order to keep going. So Zeno's solution is motion is just an illusion. It's all a paradox. That's right. Motion never existed. And this really upset a lot of people, obviously. They're like, how is motion an illusion? We obviously move. Zeno's like, no, you don't move. Oh, this knight really doesn't have any squares. I'm thinking, yeah, okay. So, what comes next is that there are a lot of philosophers who tried to come up with solutions to Zeno's paradox, of course. Because you always need solutions. You don't just leave things hanging. And I think Aristotle gave probably one of the best answers. And it's pretty much that the amount of time needed decreases with distance. So, pretty much with the dichotomy paradox, Zeno is constantly decreasing the length. Well, if the length decreases, time is also decreasing. So what Aristotle thought about the dichotomy paradox was kind of like a timeline. As time decreased, so was the length. So as length decreased, time did. And this is a pretty reasonable, I think, explanation to the paradox, at least conceptually. But I also thought of, like, what if there's actually a limit to time and a limit to length, right? I felt like there had to be some sort of limit to it. I kind of want to just play out here. Yeah. And well, the first thing I thought of when I thought of that was Planck's length and Planck's time. If you don't know Planck's length, that is roughly 1.6 times 10 to the negative 35 meters. And for Americans, that's going to be 6.36 times 10 to the negative 4 inches. And for the real Americans, that means you can fit 5.9 decillion Planck's length in the average Big Mac's diameter. Okay, so Planck's length is pretty small. It's the smallest length possible before everything you really know about the universe just starts crumbling. There are like no laws of physics that actually obey under that length. So maybe there is a fundamental unit of length that can't be traveled. It can be traveled, maybe. I don't know. And with each unit of time, that length is traveled. So maybe motion does happen, but it has to happen in chunks. Kind of like how Planck explained quantum mechanics, that energy is given in quanta. Maybe motion also has to be in quanta. I don't know. But what would be that length of time? I always like, I don't know. Oh no, he's made an interesting move. This seems like a reasonable move. Now where was I? I was talking about something. I was talking about Planck's length, right? Yeah, and as it was like a fundamental unit of length that you travel every per like unit of time. I was thinking, what would be that time frame though? Like, how much is the time? Of course, I thought Planck's time. Don't know Planck's time is around 10 to the negative 49 seconds. But the problem is that Planck's time, conceptually, is the amount of time it takes for the speed of light to travel one Planck's length. And obviously, not everything can travel at the same distance and at the same time, right? Maybe it does. I don't know. But if it does, that would be a very interesting thought. Oh, this is interesting. I don't know. What can I move this bishop? Can I move here? Can I move here? Thinking of possibilities. If I move here, move here, move here, may move here? No. Yes? Could work. Could not. This is a bit confusing. I don't know where to move. I'll just play safe and go back. Okay, anyway. So I was thinking. So pretty much you can't have Planck's time as a fundamental unit of how far each person moves. Or maybe it's every Planck's time you move a certain distance. But everything doesn't move at the same rate. Unless they do, and maybe everything we perceive actually is the same rate. Maybe everything is moving at the same rate, it's just that at different times we're moving, so we perceive it as different rates of motion. Does that make sense? I don't think that really makes sense. Like, I feel like everything has to move. Two things can move simultaneously, right? But think about it, can things actually be in the same area of space? And if motion is relative, does that just mean that everything is moving at the same rate? But it is possible for things to be in the same area, right? Like waves can be in the same area. They can be in the same space. That's a weird move. Interesting move. Fairly interesting. I could take. I could not take. Let's see. That doesn't seem like a good idea. Maybe if I take here, that could work. It's gonna come down here. You could take here. I won't get rid of this. Eh, that could work. That could feasibly work. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna play there. Yeah, okay. Now where was I? I was somewhere. I was talking about Planck's time, right? Now things might be able to move at the same rate, but I don't think it does. So can energy also be in the same area? Like, does area have a velocity? Does area have like a rate of transfer? It should, right? And if it has the same rate of transfer, does that mean energy is in motion? Can energy be in motion? It might not. Who knows? Oh no, I didn't see this. Oh no. I'm gonna get it back anyway though, right? Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. Motion gets really confusing. That's why Zeno really challenged it. And I think Zeno also tried to challenge the concept of time in another paradox. I think it was called the arrow paradox. It's really similar to the dichotomy paradox. But what he basically said was that with each unit of time, you travel a certain distance, but time can keep getting divided over and over, like how motion got divided over and over into dichotomy paradox. So that means motion or time is either just not real. So, is motion real? I hope it is. And I think there's a story about someone who debunked it just by walking across the room, showing that he can move across the room. Which, you know, obviously does debunk the dichotomy paradox, because obviously if you move across the room, you're doing something. So yeah. Do I want to take that? I mean, I could. Honestly, I do want to trade that off, actually. That's a good thing to trade off. Of course, I didn't win a pawn, but you know, that's okay. Oh wow, I mouse slipped. I mouse slipped that one. It's not a bad move, at least. I've made worse mouse slips before. Oh man, that could have been a bit. There's obviously motion. My finger had some motion there. That could have ended a lot worse, honestly. That could have ended a lot worse. I can't even move that. I can't move that either. I do not know where I want to move. I will move there for now. I will just push my pawn. And I shall target this, and this. That is a good plan. That is a fairly good plan. See, you can do motion. Obviously, I'm having motion just to move the mouse and click stuff, right? So that shows there has to be some sort of motion, right? Motion has to be real. Same with time, because I experience time, right? Like every passing second, I experience it. So I would assume time's real. I hope time is real. If time's not real, I'd be very concerned of how I'm actually doing anything. What if is there a way, like people always say like motion and time is relative, right? How is it relative if everyone has a different perspective of what space and time is, or motion for that matter? Is it real? Like, is there an objective, like definitive, like central motion or time construct? Would it be like a celestial time, like God's time maybe? I don't know. So if we all perceive a different, so like every point, So every point in space would perceive space differently? That sounds super confusing. That sounds super confusing. That is very confusing. I feel like I can make a good move here. I just can't find it right now. If I move here, he can move down here. Here. This doesn't seem pleasant. This does not seem pleasant at all. No siree, this does not seem pleasant. I don't think that's gonna work. Can I just push it? That does not seem like a good idea either. I actually don't know what to do here. I feel like I can do something, but I don't know what I can do. I honestly just want to push this and just get this rook out. I could just do this. No. We're just not going to do anything yet. Just not going to do anything. It is a brilliant plan. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so like every point in space would perceive space differently, right? It would perceive time differently too. So does that mean like my left eye and my right eye are experiencing different perceptions of space? And somehow that perception is getting combined together by my brain? Would a chair also have some sort of perception? We wouldn't know because we just don't know what a chair is. Like, would inanimate objects also follow the rule of having like different perception of what space is? It's confusing. So would only like if you also had a dog, for example, or some sort of animal, would they also have a different perception of what space is? Like, how does this work? How does it work? I do not know. Now I'm getting nervous because he can actually take this, but I can just take this. That's a fairly interesting move. That's a fairly good move. I am screwed. Oh dear. I think I just screwed myself over. I can do that. Well, yeah, I might be able to do that. Perhaps. Yeah, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Try me, man. Try me. Yeah, I think that works. That should work. Yeah, that works. Ha! It does work. It does indeed work. Okay, this is a very brilliant pin. But I'm still talking. I'm still multitasking. I still have my thoughts. I'm just kind of losing my train of thought here. Don't worry. So what is relative then? Like motion and time are relative. Space is relative. Because, you know, if you're on a bus and the bus beside you is moving, but you're stationary, you can feel like you're moving backwards, right? Because that's just relativity. Just a very famous example, right? And time is relative too, right? Okay, we're going to take that. That's a very good point. So, what else is relative? Like, is the world just relative? Is everything around us relative? I do not know. This is all very confusing questions. All very confusing. Okay. Let us do this and stack up our rooks on this open file, because that makes a good amount of sense. You're down one pawn. Although that is a very small advantage, I will take the advantage. Boop. Boom. Do something like this. I don't know. I could just do this. Just attack the rook. This knight's not anywhere near as mobile as a rook, right? So, lesson 101. Knights are slow. Knights are extraordinarily slow. Just trade with me, my friend. Just trade with me. I would love to trade. I can win with a rook against a knight, even though you have like, oh really? That's your choice. So you have chosen death. Good choice. Okay, also active king in the end. Active king. Keep your king active. It is a good idea to have an active king in the end game. Always a delightful plan. It is a fairly good plan to have an active king. Also be careful of the knight. The knight can pin and fork. And I'm really scared of knights forking my pieces, especially the king and rook. For some reason that always happens to me. I feel like I should not be making that mistake anymore, but I still do. So a neat trick I have is you just keep your king and rook off the same color. If they're on different colors, you know the knight can't fork it. So I think that's a pretty good tip. I could do this, start a pawn break, and just attack. I just need to get rid of this one pass pawn, like, well, it's not a pass pawn technically. I love how I just started the video just talking about Zeno's paradox, and now I'm just going completely off the rails. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. What can this knight do? This knight can't do much, can it? I don't think it can do much. Of course, it's on an outpost, yeah, but I mean, besides that, can it do much? I don't think it can. So we're just gonna kind of break through like this. He is gonna isolate my pawns, which is a little annoying, but it's okay. It is only slightly annoying. I just started a video on Zeno's paradoxes, and now I'm just talking about random stuff at the end. What else can I talk about Zeno of Elia? I can talk about his place of birth. He started a school, it's pretty cool. I wish I was a philosopher. Greek philosophers seem cool. Of course they got extremely underpaid. I wonder if their wives were always angry at them because they didn't have an actual job. They just thought a lot. Is that really considered a true job? I mean for real. Let's be honest. It's not really much of a job. Just talking in the middle of the street kind of makes you almost seem like a homeless person. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's a valid job. Is there really like a valid like philosopher as a true occupation? If there is, I would love to have that job if I actually get paid okay. Like I would be okay being a teacher if I got paid more. Okay, I'm just saying. So I would love to be a Greek philosopher. If I lived in Greece back in like 2,000 years ago, I would have been a philosopher. I would have seen Socrates. I would not talk to Aristotle because he just had some crazy ideas. I do not think Aristotle was the wisest guy out there. Then again, I have heard worse. I mean, look at today. We have flat earthers, okay? Why? 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 These are questions that must be understood. What is the thought process of these flat earthers? What is the reasoning? There's no reasoning. Even Aristotle. Okay, did Aristotle think the Earth was flat? Did he think you jump off the ledge? I can't remember. I do not know. I am not that much of a history buff. This is annoying. Aha, but if you do this, I think that works. You can't take with the pawn. The knight's gonna die. Right? So you actually have to move the knight. Yeah? Yeah, I think it works. That should work. I think I am winning this endgame. But if there's one thing you need to know, it's really that I'm really bad at endgames. Okay, I can think a lot, but I still am really bad at endgames. Luckily, well, he's not that long time. Honestly, 5 minutes is plenty of time to actually finish a game. This is a rapid game, but blitz games are like can take 5 minutes. I feel like 5 minutes is actually more time than you actually think it is, unless you're playing classical chess. Then like you actually have to like start moving. I would love to be a chess player too. That'd be a cool job. There's a lot of cool jobs. The problem is I'm not good enough at it to actually do well. What's this? Can I actually just take the pawn here? If I take this pawn, he does this, and I do this. And he does something like this. I do this. He comes back out. I do this. I do not think that's a good idea. It's probably not a good idea. I'm really nervous about this. I really don't like that. That's not a good idea either. Should I just take it and just check? Come back? That is a really nerve-wracking plan. That is like the most nerve-wracking plan I've ever seen. I do have a material advantage. I don't want to lose it though. Is it really worth it? We're gonna find out. This could be a horrible mistake that I just made. I'm just gonna kind of come back. It's okay. I can take an open diagonal. What if I just advance? Just take an open diagonal. Okay, I'm still looking for forks. Like that's like my biggest thing. I hate forks. I really do not like forks. Okay, I'm not talking about the utensil, but I'm talking about, you know, like in chess. Forks are the worst. Especially knife forks. Those are really bad. Well, I don't know if I'm doing this right, actually. I think I've made some questionable decisions here. Please, I need to get better at endgames. I really do need to get better at endgames though. Okay, well. This is interesting. This is very interesting. What if I go all the way back here and just kind of go here? If he comes out here, well, I'm in a tight situation then. I could come back here. This is like a target unless he pushes. Okay, that's also annoying. Ah, this is so annoying. Ah, you just keep pushing. Well. Yeah, this is getting annoying, just as how annoying the other philosophers during time must have been with Zeno's paradoxes. This is super annoying. Please, stop the harassment. Stop the harassment, please. I didn't do anything wrong to deserve this. I'm still wondering what I'm supposed to do here. I'm trying to go to A8 and create a passed pawn here. I do not know what I'm doing though. It's all rather confusing. He can jump too. I forgot. He's still on the second rank. Dang it. Dang it. Dang it. This man is dragging on this game and making this video too long. I don't want to edit. I don't want to edit, cut the video apart. I have to keep ranting now. Oh no, I have to keep thinking about paradoxical things. Oh, he did it. He jumped. He jumped. Oh no, he jumped. Oh, the madman jumped. Oh no. Why would you do that? How could you do such a thing? I'm really hoping I'm not forking anything here. I'm really hoping I'm not making like a huge mistake right now. I am just really hoping I don't make a mistake. That is what I'm solely running on, just not making a mistake. Oh snap. I think that should work. I think that works. Unless he moves his king back, of course.